It's JW, and I'm at the elementary school, and this is a picture of the road coming in and out of the elementary school. And as you can see, it is dead quiet today. It's been rainy and overcast, chilly all day. It's about 50 degrees now, but doesn't feel like 50. It feels more like winter than it does like spring. And like I was saying on one of the other videos, trying to figure out these traffic patterns. It's crazy. Like Friday, traffic was backed up pretty good. Now, because I suppose Friday makes a difference. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a father picks up his child instead of the mother, and they're not sure which entrance to go in sometimes or whatever. But it's a mystery to me. But what are you gonna do? And some of the other things, I was listening to the radio, as I often do. There's a talk show on the radio here in New England, and I was listening to all these comments about the protests that were going on nationwide yesterday. I guess it was hands off. I guess they mean hands off my Social Security and hands off this and hands off that. As far as I can tell, nobody's got their hands on any of that. It looks to me like they're just cutting the waste in government. And I don't know about you, but I'm all for that. There's been so much corruption in government since I was a kid that I'm all for anything we can do to cut down on the fraud and the waste that's going on. But it's always amazing how some people can believe they're protesting for a reason that really doesn't make any sense. I don't know one single individual who did not get their Social Security check, their food stamps, or no one around me ever mentioned anything about it, so I assume they got them. I know lots of people who get Social Security. One guy in particular would have been on the phone to me if it doesn't show up at the exact time it was supposed to show up in his bank account. So I know that and I got mine. So anyway, sometimes I don't get it. I've been, like I tell you all the time, I've been around a while, and back in 1963, I joined the Army and went to basic training. And we were just starting to go into Vietnam at that time, and we were known back then as advisors. We didn't have any boots on the ground at the time, so we were known as advisors. And there were still protesters out there protesting the advisors, I guess. And don't get me wrong, once the war started and we saw what the government was up to, and the Agent Orange stuff, believe me, if I weren't in uniform, I would have been out there protesting with them against that one, because I knew a lot of good people who didn't make it home in that one. So protests certainly have their purpose, and it's what this country was founded on. But it doesn't seem to me that anyone really understands what they're protesting about. And if you believe a lot of the people on the right, many of these protesters are being paid by allegedly George Soros, who's a longtime bad guy, I think, in terms of hurting the United States with his. See, you got to understand something. Guys like Soros, a billionaire, he doesn't do anything unless it benefits him. So if he has a protest, it's because he needs to make money somehow, and he knows the market probably as well as anyone, I would think. And so he's probably making a lot of money shorting stocks, and which is, there's nothing against the law on shorting stocks, but what is against the law is if you are instrumental as an individual in causing those stocks to short. For instance, if I found out that Donald Trump was shorting stocks, I'd be highly upset, because he knew that I kind of guess we all knew the tariffs were probably going to have an initial downturn in the stocks for sure. So it wouldn't have been too hard to put a lot of money, and I'll bet a lot of politicians did. I don't think Trump did, because he is so well observed by the press that if he goes to the bathroom, they know about it. So anyway, it just amuses me sometimes when I hear this stuff. But the rally is titled Hands Off Rally, and I'm thinking, yeah, how about hands off my chickens? The eggs are back to a pretty good price now. So, and even when they went to their highest price, I buy my eggs at a place where they keep their prices as low as possible on every item. And I think the highest I ever saw eggs at, depending on which brand you bought, but the highest I ever saw eggs go up was $5.99 a dozen. And some people think that's a low price. They pay that all year round. But I go to this market that really keeps things, it's a local market, and they keep things pretty low priced, and they deal with local merchants. They get their eggs from local merchants. So, and some of the eggs were as reasonable as $3.99 a dozen. I think they were the medium eggs. So, I like to get the extra large eggs, because the other one, the eggs today are so small. I don't know if I hope they're not putting hormones. I get these eggs that claim they're organic and grass-fed and all that, but they have been on the smaller side. So I get the extra large now, and they're pretty good size, but they're about the size of what a large used to be. So anyway, with all this tariff nonsense, I thought I'd chime in and just leave you with this message again. Just keep your hands off my eggs, okay? Anyway, guys, I thought I'd, instead of you guys taking a look at my mug today, we'd just do the road and see if there was any traffic. I see a car coming now. It's so sporadic. When I tell you that this is a pretty busy road, ordinarily at this time, it's very busy. You can see. So, what is it? I don't know. If you have any thoughts on why it might be, such low traffic, let me know in the comments. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon, folks. Take care.